Morning all. This game is another tribute to Robert Eugene Byrne, who died very recently, April 12, 2013. This game was in the 1965 US Championship, just like the Fischer game we've just seen. It was in round 11. Robert was playing white against Larry Melvin Evans. He played e4. Larry Evans played the Sicilian defence. Robert played knight f3, and we see a6, slightly delaying development for a moment. Knight c3, waiting what black's setup will be, delaying d4 for a moment. Black now commits to d6, and then we see d4. C takes, knight f6, bishop g5, e6, and now we're entering into the very sharp variation of the Sicilian poison pawn variation after f4, queen b6, hitting b2 here. White offers the b2 pawn, doesn't retreat the knight, which is another way perhaps to play the position, requiring less theory. Queen takes b2, rook b1, queen a3. Now white plays very energetically, as you do in this variation quite often. He plays e5. He's trying to extend the scope of his bishop to id8, which could potentially be a disaster for black in this kind of position. D takes, f takes, the knight goes back to d7, and now we see bishop c4. Even though it seems e5 might be captured, this is far too dangerous. If black plays knight takes e5 here, white has knight takes e6, threatening queen d8 mate. And if queen a5, for example, then it's actually the crushing blow bishop b5 check, because after a takes b, rook takes, the queen can't really defend now. d8, losing material. Black's losing here. So okay, so if we go back to the game continuation, instead of taking on e5, black played the more cautious bishop b4, rook b3, queen a5, and now white castles, black castles. Okay, and now a very dangerous move indeed for black, and in particular for his h7 square, like in the Fischer game. Robert displays a tendency for direct attacking play, attacking chess, and this opening certainly supports direct attacking chess here. And we see a very, very aggressive, great dynamic move here from white. I wonder if you can guess what white plays if I give you 10 seconds starting from now. Okay, bishop f6. This is causing a lot of issues for black's king side. If black has double pawns, it's hardly likely to play f6, liberating the rook at some point. Black takes this, and the engines here at depth 15 particularly don't see what all the fuss is for white's attack now. But it is dangerous for the black king. Queen h6. All it needs now is this rook to help, like here and here. This would be very, very dangerous for g7 and h7. Black tries in this position, queen takes e5, and now we get sheer artistry with the knights. First, we see a crushing blow with knight f5, offering black tripled pawns. This would really cause congestion and very little defence if this G or H line becomes dangerous for this rook to join the queen. We see E takes f5, and now the logical continuation, knight e4. Very strong aesthetic impression created. This rook is able to threaten now rook h3 for queen h7 mating, or rook g3 for queen g7 mating, unless black wants to sacrifice the queen. We see bishop d2 in this position. Already black's defensive task is becoming too difficult. Knight takes d2, check, king h1. He's made it look easy attacking chess in skilled hands, But how can black defend his king? Look at all these pieces huddled over here. Larry tries knight e5. After the check, knight g4. But now just to move h3. I can take time to do this. Black's king is not going anywhere. If king here, queen takes rook, he has to spend time, and this is really getting too much for the black king. We see queen e5, and the rook is shielded here with rook f4, check, and the rook is now protected with knight f1. Black now tries the desperate queen takes g3. Okay. But the queen is attacked here, so white has to be careful not losing the queen. So rook takes g4 check is needed to eliminate that knight and guarantee taking this queen without losing one's own queen. Queen takes g4, h takes g4. Okay, at the moment it looks as though black has two rooks for the queen, but his king safety is shot to pieces. Knight d7, knight g3, simply threatening. For example, knight takes f5 or knight h5. King h8, which was afforded by the knight protecting the rook. Bishop d3, coming in for that h7 square now. Bishop takes f5, defended with rook g6, offering the exchange. Rook g7 doesn't help because of knight h5. White takes this exchange and now plays knight e4. Threatening knight takes f6 potentially in some lines now. It was knight d6 or g5, just simply g5, because in fact knight takes f6. If knight takes f6 is played here, black has knight g8. So this is much better now. What Robert plays, he plays g5. After bishop b7, he takes on f6. Threatening mate on h7, knight f8, and now queen h2. The queen comes back on the dark squares. Of course white's winning, but it's nice precise moves here to finish off black. Bishop c8, queen e5, knight e6, and now just knight d7 check. Okay, and black resigned here. It is hopeless. If black tries knight g7, white has the crushing knight b6 on the rook. There's no rook b8 here. So a crushing win with white against Larry Evans in the 1965 US Championship by Robert Eugene Byrne in the Sicilian poison pawn variation, one of the sharpest, most theoretically analysed pawn sacrifices in the whole of the Sicilian defence. Comments or questions on YouTube? Thanks very much.